everybody. How the heck are you? I am Tommy, and you were on the boat. One for the ladies, Sandy, Wendy, Eddie, Caroline in Canada, Loretta. How are you? Smoke Keith. Gave it up a while ago, but I do like the sentiment. Let's see here. Tennessee girl. Sherry? What's happening? Brock Bandy, good to see you. So listen, there's almost, what do we got? We got about Johnny Scoville, the Johnny Scoville. How the hell are you?
Couldn't be better. Yourself?
I'm hanging in there. If you've never seen Johnny Scoville and you think I'm talking to myself, come by at midnight. I do a show with my brother. We do it every night at midnight. Listen, people, there's already 100 of you in here. Do me a favor and smack that like button. It really does hurt YouTube when you guys push out my my channel.
I hate it.
It was in the 70s today, Eddie. Real 70s, Eddie. It was beautiful here today. I'll tell you what, it was an absolutely beautiful day. And we have, by the way, we have Carnival coming up. It was a couple of days.
Yep.
Yeah, Carnival, which is apparently just a huge debaucherous party. 4 days of boobs and drunkenness. I think I'll be staying inside for all of that. Puckered, you didn't it? Huh? You get a little scared on that? I will be staying inside for that. But I would like to, I'd like to bring you up to speed a little bit. Today was another one of those days where it's very, very difficult to tell whether or not what we're looking at is going to be a huge thing or if it's just going to be a bust, right? Everybody got very, very excited when they arrested Carlos. I'm sorry, when they detained Carlos. I think that unfortunately with this case and the way it's progressing, we kind of hang our hopes on things because we want so badly for this to be solved. And the longer that it draws out, I think the more that most of us lose hope. And I don't mean that we're going to stop praying and doing all of that, but it's very difficult at this point to not believe that that this isn't going to have a good ending. I'm sorry. It doesn't make any sense. Sorry, people, but the chat is messed up again. So I've got to poor Carlos. Yeah, poor Carlos on one hand, and on the other hand, if poor Carlos doesn't get an attorney and a Ferrari out of this, then he really played this wrong. Especially if for real they kicked in the door without a search warrant, he's going to own a police department, which wouldn't be a bad thing. Barbara Waite, good to see you. How are you? Corey, good to have you here. Hey, honey. You saw me on my wife's channel today. My wife is a wizard, isn't she? Do me a favor, everybody. We're at 200. Hit like, comment, and subscribe. So today they found a black glove. And you know what? It's easy to get excited about that. I'm tired of the clown show and the circus, man. I am too. And I'll tell you something else I'm friggin' tired of, right? I'm tired of people that live stream in front of a scene that nothing is happening in, and 35,000 people get in the chat and talk so fast you literally cannot see what anyone is saying. And all 5 of the live feeds are stealing it off of one guy. I don't understand this business, I guess. Corey, did you love it? She's great, isn't she? Can they fingerprint from the inside of a glove? They can. Hey, Miss Weedy Poo, Cleveland, Ohio. Good to see you. Mommers. Wow. That is so cool, Mommers. I am glad that you are here. See, that's how it's supposed to work. It's a little nepotism back and forth here. Lucky me. Always be yourself. Yeah, no, I'm going with that. I promise. Eddie, that's a kind thing to say. My wife is awesome. She really is, man. She really is. The sad situation has gotten everybody's attention. Story running in the UK. Unbelievable, right? There are people that everywhere, man. Sharon, you watched it today too? Hey, Buffy, I know you were there. Ashley, DNA from the glove too. Yeah, DNA is probably more likely. You can get a fingerprint off a glove. That's absolutely possible to do. It's not as likely, though, from what I understand, as it's going to be if you try to get, yeah, exactly. Mopman says glove was turned inside out. I'm going to tell you something else that you may not want to hear. Mommers, look at that. You look fantastic in green. Thank you so much. Oh, my God, look at the way the glove looks. It points. Maybe it's just my imagination, but it does. I'll tell you something else about that glove. Don't want to bum anybody out. But have you guys seen any of the evidence collection people walking around? Because they're all wearing black gloves. And they're not wearing the normal, like, nitrile, thin-ass gloves. They're wearing beefier gloves. I have a really terrible feeling that they're going to pull some DNA off of that and say, oh, it belongs to so-and-so from the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Honest to God. The way that they've handled this is the kind of shit crime scene where someone's going to drop a glove. You know what I mean? This glove was found 1.5 miles from the house. That also makes me nervous. I mean, what did he throw it out the window? Because that's amateur hour to beat shit if you threw a glove out the window. How long do you think they had the video footage from the Nest camera? So honestly, they announced it the same day that they put it out. They announced it in the morning and said, we'll probably release it in the afternoon. And it may be my imagination. Maybe this is wishful thinking. But I got to believe that people started going, I'm sorry, what? You have it right now and you're going to release it when? Put it out now. I mean, what the hell? We're waiting on somebody. We saw Smokes. Good to see you. Lisa Palmer, what's happening? Taylor, good to see you. I mean, honest to God, why are we waiting to put anything out? If you got it, release it. Right? This is not this isn't a situation. Say again? Release it if you got them. Yeah, release it if you got them. This is not something that is this is time sensitive like very few crimes. Hi, Tommy. I hope the glove has DNA. He had to handle the flashlight after it was in his mouth. I didn't think about that. I did not think about that. That actually makes a hell of a lot of sense, though. Supposedly another photo to be released. I heard that too. I also heard that allegedly they've got some stuff that they're not releasing, right? They may have some stuff from inside, right? That is a rumor that is going around. A very large content creator that I used to spend a lot of time with leaked that to me today. If the glove fits, hopefully it leaves DNA in it, right, Space Diesel? Maybe someone put it there thinking it would be a joke. Yeah, you know what's sad, Ruth, is that's not so far-fetched, right? Because it's a bummer how many people are treating this that way. I mean, think of, I'll never tell Ashley. You can't just assume it was STS. I went on a lot of shows. Reese was talking about it today on her live. A lot of people think it's the son-in-law who took her. I believe it is the son-in-law that took her. Staged glove. That wouldn't surprise me, Corey. I used to watch Rabbit for true crime. However, I don't support her anymore. So very glad Reese told me about you, Tommy. Well, I love that. I mean, I'm sorry to hear that you broke off from Rabbit, but if you're going to have to do that, this is the place to land, I think. See, Cindy Love says, I think it's the son-in-law too. People, the son-in-law is the only person that acted like a freak, right? A freak from the time that this thing broke. I'm telling you, and I'll say it again. I really, 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 I know that there's no like playbook. This is how you should act if somebody gets kidnapped. This is how you should act if somebody dies, right? Say it again. But there's a way not to act, says Johnny Scoville, and that's actually just where what I was getting at. Right now, Ashley G, apparently he's staying either at a hotel or at a friend's place. Allegedly, he's been doing both of those things, but they are following him like you would not believe. Speak of the devil, and I do mean the devil, with a blue dress on. Devil with the blue dress on. This is the only guy that acted like a freak from the very first day that this happened. He has acted guilty. Do you think law enforcement might be looking at Annie and Neckbeard? Oh, God, yeah. Look at how much time, Eddie, that they're spending at that house. If the story is real, right? Think about this from the logical standpoint. If this story is real, by the way, that's my beautiful wife. So is that. Relatable Reese. If this story is true, the way that they are putting this out to us, they go over to Annie and Neckbeard's place and they play Mahjong, right? And then mom gets driven back home. Why would the FBI go back to that place where they played Mahjong 5 times, right? Not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, 5 times, right? They call these things walkbacks, right? Or like second chances. Very often when you get a search warrant, either they give it to you for a specific period of time or you can ask a judge to modify it. Say, we got to go back out there. But they give you grace on that. Once they give you the search warrant the first time, new evidence or new theories come up and they go, holy shit, did you check this? Right? Did you check the circuit box? Did you check this? Right? And then they go back out to do a little bit more deep diving. Why are you deep diving the place they played Mahjong if you don't think that Neckbeard did this? That's a hell of a lot of time to spend in not the crime scene, right? This isn't the crime scene. This shouldn't have anything to do with it. They're not, this is the only 2 spots, right? If legitimately that story's true, you don't have to go over there at all. I mean, yeah, you might go over and talk to people, but she left there allegedly in perfect shape, got dropped off at her house right around 10-ish. And the garage door had a 2-minute delay from the time that the garage door went open to the time that the garage door closed. That was her allegedly going in there. Then at 1 o'clock in the morning, we see the person that comes to the front door, 147 to be exact, right? That's what they're claiming anyway. Now, people, I don't know that I buy any of this shit, right? So don't judge me if you think that I'm wrong. But this right here allegedly was right around the 140, 145, 147 in the morning, right? When this guy came over. And I'll tell you something, people. I watched this video today. I'm not joking. And again, my wife is better at stuff like this. I'm not visually observant. Like, I can pick things out. I am an absolute beast at taking apart, especially stuff that's crime related, right? But visually, I'm not that guy. You know, if you put a loop on me, I can tell you fake watch pretty easily. But I'm not great at looking at videos or whatever. But I watched that puppy so many times today. And do you know what I saw, Johnny Scoville? I saw a man that was walking into the gates of hell. And there's a step up. It's maybe 6 to 8 inches up. If you had been walking there, you'd have fell on your ass. He's in the process of turning around as he's walking toward that door. And magically, his foot just raised up about 6 inches and stepped on there. That fool has been there many times. If you go back and watch that, I promise you that fool has been there many times. This was not a guy walking into a place for the first time. Not at all. And I'll tell you something else that really may not make sense to a lot of you, because really a lot of you are good people. Sue Nelson, another glove. I'm going with the brother-in-law too. I think everyone that is being logical in this is going with that glove. Quite simply put, this makes sense, right? This absolutely makes sense. And nothing else does. I'm looking for financial motivation because that's almost always, right? What does it? It's almost always has to do with money, right? I believe that Neckbeard is in this for the cash. And you're not going to convince me otherwise. Louisa says, hi, Tommy. Yeah, the guy got 1 million views showing a stretch of road most of the time. However, he spent some time walking us around the block. 35,000 people in a live chat today. 35K. Hey, good for you, man. I'll tip my hat to pimping. But it doesn't make a shitload of sense to me. There's literally nothing going on. It's like vultures, man. And I am really sorry. I'm not trying to sound like I'm shitting on other people, but I dig true crime. I don't like the idea that social media people in true crime can screw up a case. And let's be honest, we've had a pizza delivery guy walk through a friggin' crime scene. We have had multiple, right, podcasters walk up to the front door of the crime scene while there's still blood on the front steps. And they're over there going like this, filming it. I don't know how you did that. I'll tell you how they did it. Oh, you mean, yeah, you know, it's unconscionable, you mean? Yeah. I'd have been a little stressed out about it. I'd like to believe that I wouldn't have done it, but there's a decent chance I would have. And that's kind of the problem with once you start like going all in for clicks. I did that with Diddy, right? There we go. I got my chat back. Sue Nelson, thank you so much for the support. Yeah, there's about 370 of you here. Do me a favor, smack that like button. And if you've not hit subscribe, why have you not? Right? Why have you not? Was it pepperoni? Disclosure error, and it might have been. I don't know if you get a pass, though, just because it's pepperoni. Can you believe that shit went on for real? They ordered a pizza for a guy, and it walks. The pizza guy walks through the crime scene. This, people, shows the ineptitude of what's going on in this case. And if we do not, hey, Sonny, just joined in tonight. What does the bottom of my T-shirt say? It says, always be yourself, right? Unless you can be a moose. Then always be a moose. It is better to be a moose than yourself. Moose was my dad. My dad was called Moose. And I collect all things moose. Gets a pass. Had to for a little lighten up. No, I'm not going to lighten up on Barney Fife. I'm not going to. Right? I am not going to lighten up on the sheriff. If, in fact, I should put my foot to the floor. Right? I really should. I should put my foot to the floor. And I'll tell you why. He stopped the search at 30 hours. If that was your mom, would you be giving this guy a break? 30 hours in, we'll stop searching, right? We got this shit figured out. And people go, well, that's when they figured out that it was a kidnapping. No, they didn't. Hour 50 is when the kidnappers reached out. So what was Barney Fife thinking when he said we're no longer going to search at 30 hours? You know, whether or not you guys realize this, and most of you do because you're into true crime scenes get tainted. If somebody's walking down the street, you know, wind, all of these things have an ability to blow away evidence. You got to get on it as fast as humanly possible, right? And then on top of that, at the same 30-hour mark, he goes, well, we're done collecting evidence in here. You can have your house back. They didn't take the mat on the front porch. Think about this for a second. How much evidence do you think could have been on that mat? Holy shit. Those shrubberies that the guy had in his hand, right? The flowers and all that stuff were laying on that mat. They didn't take the mat. Does that not seem stupid? Like I'm usually on the other side of the equation, but even from the criminal standpoint, I got to believe there was DNA on that mat. The guy standing there with a friggin' flashlight in his mouth, farting around with that thing. I would say that there was a decent chance they could have gotten some DNA off of that. What gets me there is no proof of life. You know something? It's heartbreaking. And again, it doesn't make sense from the criminal standpoint that you didn't leave a note. You don't want people to call 911. I know this is getting redundant, but I got a lot of new people that join the show every night. From a criminal standpoint, this is a very simple business. By the way, if Megyn Kelly says, I don't think these are professional kidnappers one more time, I'm literally gonna mail her something and say, God help us. Can you point me to a professional kidnapper? Especially in the United States. Kidnappers get caught the first time that they do it. There's nobody that does this for a living, right? You don't get away with the first one, which would be a necessity to get to the second one, right? There are no professional, well, I was in banking, Johnny Scoville, but started to dry out a little bit. So I would try my hand at kidnapping. It's new every day, you know what I mean? You get to meet new and unusual, exciting people, tie them up and put them in trunks. There are no professional, right? This is a stupid crime done by stupid criminals because they don't get away with it, going all the way back to the Lindbergh baby, right? It's hard to pick anybody in the United States that ever got away with a ransom for pay. It just doesn't happen. So on top of it, if that's not reason enough, Joed, welcome to Ensign. You look fantastic in green. If that's not enough reasons to be pissed, right? If that's not enough reasons to be pissed at this jackwagon, they have a Cessna. It's a very small airplane. First one Johnny Scoville and I ever went skydiving at. It was a Cessna 172, wasn't it? Or is it a 182? 75. So very, very small plane. It's like being inside a Volkswagen Beetle that flies, right? It's got wings. They had the Briggs and Stratton motor. The things go, I mean, your car can go almost as fast as them. They're not traditional planes. They fly very, very slowly, and they're used because of that reason. This one had infrared stuff on it, right? This is the ultimate tool to put up in the air if you're looking for somebody. I mean, the ultimate tool. Do you know why that plane wasn't in the air, Johnny Scoville?
Tell me why, Tommy.
Because the sheriff got into an argument with the guy who flew it. They weren't getting along. Some political bullshit. So he said, you're benched. Would you not be pissed off if that was your mom? Because I'd be pretty pissed off if that was my mom. Sorry? I went and looked up this guy's got a record. You can go look up the sheriff and see how many people have complained about him. Now, look, do you think the Porch Pirate's dead after the video release? Here's the thing. I'm torn up about the whole thing. Yeah, benched for 3. Why in hell would you not let that guy get up in the air? As far as the Porch Pirate thing goes, that dude that's on the porch, I mean, can you imagine the pressure of seeing your face on the news like that? I have literally seen my face on the news before when you're wanted. It is horrifying. And I was wanted for some shit that I'd be able to bail out on it for about $5 or $6 grand. This dude's wanted for something that is going to end his life or hers. I guess there are people that still think that this is a woman. I don't. And I'll tell you something. This is absolutely one of the wildest things in the world to me, right? Now Harvey Levin with the 1 Bitcoin note. This is just people taking advantage of this. And if this isn't a statement on where we have come to as a planet, right? Here's a family that are suffering like you can't imagine. There is no suffering like this, man. You think, well, I lost my mom. That's instant closure of a sort, right? Mom's gone. Now you have to sit and you have to start processing through it. And you go through the 5 stages of grief and yada, yada, yada. But in this situation, you're going to be pissed, right? Because you're going to blame yourself for this. Oh, what would have happened if I put up that money? I mean, the FBI kept telling me not to pay if there wasn't proof of life, but what would have happened if I put it up? I don't think that there was ever people that were trying to get ransom. It doesn't match anything, right? You would have sent out the announcement that said, hey, I want money for this. You do that instantly. Sorry? Almost 500. Do me a favor, people, smack that like button, hit the bell for notification because I go live a lot, especially with this case. It's impossible not to go live a lot. If you don't, this thing will just go all the way by you. By the way, anybody that watches Ashley Banfield, just know this. She's in the files begging to meet Jeffrey Epstein. we're going to be talking about this coming up. And I'm dragging my wife into to that because my wife has a theory on Epstein and she is sticking with it. And I would like to debate her in front of the world. It's sad to me. It's absolutely brutally sad to me that in their moment of absolute darkness, there are assholes out there going, let's see if we can't pick up 55,000 off of these people, right? Bitcoin's trading at what, 58, 60 or something like that. Let's see if we can squeeze them for 60,000. You could get 50 for being a stand-up cat and just calling the FBI and going, hey, Neckbeard's the one that took him, or whoever they say they know, because that's what's happening right now. They're claiming the letter that went into Harvey Levin said, I'll tell you who kidnapped this woman, right, for 1 Bitcoin. And you better hurry your ass up, right, because we don't have a lot of time. That is the ultimate scumbag. It really is, man. And the other people that are faking ransom notes, that's just not how a kidnapper works. We're going to send you, this is how much we want. Here's the address, and we're never going to talk to you again. I mean, the more I think about it, people, the less sense it makes. It is not something, if it wasn't about money, then why kidnap her? Reels, it says the Reels Art. Well, here's the deal, right? This is a difficult thing to wrap your brain around because it doesn't make sense to any of us. I think that this is about cash. This is a woman that, by all accounts, inherited a decent amount of money when her husband died. Also, her real estate holdings is worth a shitload of money. Neckbeard and Annie live in that town right down the street in a house that is $600,000. If they were to get that house, and what are you going to do? You're going to give it to Savannah? Savannah's got what, $40 million or something. The brother is happy up in Vermont. They live right down the street. They stand to make the most money if that woman is no longer alive. And Neckbeard already had the power of attorney, right? This smells to me like a power grab. I have said this many times. The dumber the crime looks, the more you can bet the farm that, Rini, thank you. And as soon as my chat works again, I'm going to put your name up there. You can bet the farm it's based on desperation. There's rumors out there that they were in bad financial trouble, right? There are rumors out there they were in bad financial trouble. If that's the truth, then that's a motivation, right? That's a big time motivation. And sadly, I do believe, I just can't find anybody else, Occam's razor style, right? It's more logical that somebody that was working on this house looked at this woman and said, I got an idea. Why don't we kidnap her? Because she's got this rich daughter. That does not make any sense to me. You do not have a neck beard. Would you stop that? Good Lord, the things you say. You know what? If people believe you, they're going to think that you're like a 75-year-old, 300-pound Italian woman, the way you talk. Neckbeard has the power of attorney. Why not Annie? That's a really good question, right? That is a really, really good question. Who profits off of her death, right? That's the question. Who's going to come up off of this, right? That's the only question that needs to be asked. This shit is out of control. It absolutely is. But it didn't need to be. Frank Drebin did not do us any good in this case. If they had continued to search for this woman, we would be in a very, very different place. Allegedly, they have asked the family to take a lie detector test. Well, I know you're Italian. Wouldn't have married you if you weren't Italian, but you don't have a beard. Stop telling people that. Did Neckbeard lose his job? I think that they just removed his name from the website for obvious reasons. Ryan Eats Crayon said, Reese made me laugh today. Reese makes me laugh every day. She is hysterically funny. I was saying on an earlier stream of mine, because someone said, you remind me of George Carlin. And I said, I should never do another show and I should just leave with someone saying, hey, you remind me of George Carlin, because that's the best compliment I've ever had. Ever. And I said, my wife was raised by George Carlin. And she really was. It's the reason Reese is so funny. I'm 60 menopause, can start a neck beard. You guys are funny as hell, man. You really are. This is all about, yeah, she is fantastic. This is all about cash. It has to be. What makes more sense? George Carlin was her dad. What makes more sense? That a worker decided to pull this off? I'm telling you, people, that kind of, I know that we don't necessarily think about things in the same way that criminals do. Question, you think that Neckbeard hired someone to kidnap Nancy and get rid of her without Annie knowing? Oh, I think Annie knows. Yeah, I think Annie knows. If I'm breaking the law, trust and believe my wife is going to know, right? And it's always been that way. I used to rob banks. You can't do that if there was a woman that you're living with, unless she's cool with you robbing banks. If not, she's going to assume something else. You're cheating, you're selling drugs, whatever. How can you disappear and do things? Hey, babe, I'm going to head out at 2:00 in the morning, or I got friends that are coming over. We're going to go in the garage and talk for 4 hours, right? I got to go out and buy all of these things. And I'll tell you something else. The more I think about this, I'm not 100% sure that that neckbeard wasn't there. That's obviously not him at the front door. But I don't think that guy disabled the camera and then went around to the back of the house. I'm putting this on a 3-man crew. If I were putting this together, man, I stole the funniest woman on earth. That was my last theft. Damn straight. Ryan eats crayons. I did. I stole the funniest woman on earth. Why is neckbeard power of attorney? I don't know. I honestly don't know. Is it true TMZ has investors from Saudi Arabia? Louisa, I couldn't answer that. I could not answer that. But I think this is a 3-man job, right? Straight up, I think this is a 3-man job. I think he goes to the front door and knocks out the camera. Somebody goes to the back door of the pry bar and goes in, and they're saying there are obvious signs of how can this not just be a sexual sadist? That's a legit question. What's that?
Obvious signs of what?
Of forced entry. Obvious signs of forced entry. They're saying the back door was jammed open, which is why it didn't close, right? They said the door was wide open. They didn't mean Ma left it wide open. They mean the people, when they left it wide the hell open, right? They broke into that house. I think that the guy in the front's job was to knock out that camera. Why? Because that camera would have seen a car that pulled up in the driveway. It would have seen a car that pulled up in front of the house. And I think that you can't do a kidnapping without 3 or 4 people. In this particular environment, you're going to need someone to drive a vehicle to pick her up. You're not going to walk that woman down the road. That glove didn't come off someone's hand who was walking, right, her home. That just didn't happen. Who said he had power of attorney? That is absolutely a fact. He really did have power of attorney. I think it's a 3-man band. I think somebody had to pull the vehicle up. I think the guy that we saw with the flashlight in his mouth, his job was to knock out that front camera, right? To take the Nest camera off the wall. By the way, there was today, what's that chick's name we were watching? The blonde one. Megyn Kelly. Megyn Kelly today showed how easy it is to take off a Nest camera system. Yeah, this is the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. I could sit down and put a camera on me, and I could take the back off a Rolex watch and go, watch how easy it is for me to disassemble this, right? It's because I've disassembled a shitload of them, right? You're not going to be able to do that if you try. It requires a very small little tool. Apparently both of the big companies do. And you're going to have to stick that in and sort of snap this thing. I had a crush on Megyn. Don't tell people I had a crush on Megyn Kelly. I did not.
She needs to put on 30 pounds.
She would need to put on a lot of weight. I guess they bought 3 sets of, this is the dumbest shit in the world. I promise you, if I put the thing up on the wall, it'll be very easy for me to get down. The guy that went to that front door didn't install it, Megyn. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but that's just a stupid demonstration. It really is. It's a dumb ass demonstration. Hey, babe, I don't do. I tend to prefer a little bit of cushion. Could that have been a pellet gun in the holster? It absolutely could have been, Mop. Absolutely, it could have been. And I'll tell you something. If you know exactly what you're going into. If you know the person on the other side of that door is 84 years old, you know the person on the other side of that door does not have, by the way, I'm going to get to your sex crime question. If you know the person on the other side of that door does not have a weapon, yeah, all you need is a fake gun because that gun isn't there. The guy on camera in front was too comfortable. You're absolutely right. Now, why would this... yeah, maybe a love seat. I don't know about the whole couch, but maybe a love seat. You're funny. So here's why I don't think this is a sex crime. If you do a little research in this, right? If you do a little research into this, hold on. Not only that, she wouldn't know if it was real. Correct. They look unbelievably real. Silencer, I don't think that gun was silenced. Silencers are bulky as hell. Sound suppressors are usually about 3 to 4 inches long. They make a regular length gun very difficult to put in a holster. Oh my God, get a room. And you said joke. For a second there, I thought you said Jake. My wife occasionally likes to hire a male stripper named Jake. That's right. Tell him the truth. Did you read a report from CNN where they tried to explain how the images from the Google Nest cloud were recovered? It was fascinating. I didn't. But what I did was this morning, before anything else happened, I started to deep dive how all that works. And it works. I can say it probably quicker than they did, although I didn't watch it. I know you owe them money. I didn't watch it, but from my understanding and the research I've done, it is no different whatsoever than your cell phone, right? If I delete everything off my cell phone, that doesn't mean a cop can't come in and take everything I had on it. Because when something gets removed, it doesn't disappear. It just says, this space you can now write over, right? It's like having something in the trash that you're going to throw something on top of, but now you're allowed to put more trash in. And with Nest, if you're not paying a subscription, you got 3 hours that you're going to have to collect that. However, it still goes to the cloud, right? It still goes to the cloud. I like the Ring doorbell system if it's me. Her daughter and son didn't have a key to Nancy's house. Oh, I would imagine they did, but they weren't going to use that in the process of committing a crime. They have to make it look like something. So here's why I don't think this is a sexual crime. This is why I don't think it was a sexual crime. Because if you do research into this, when people rape somebody, there we go. There's my show. When people rape somebody who is 84 years old, that's not normal, right? And rape isn't normal anyway. But it is a abnormal kind of sexual assault. And more often than not, like 9 out of 10 times, it's going to be done by someone ridiculously young. For whatever reason, the older the person that's raped, like people that in their 90s who get raped are very often raped by teenagers. There's just some kind of weird, the only people that seem to have that kind of predilection tend to be younger. So somebody in their 70s, you might have someone who's in their 20s or whatever. I actually read an entire book on this. If she's alive, where do you think they'll find her? House, abandoned building? If she isn't alive, do you think they'll find her body near the house? I don't think she's alive. I'm sorry. I think she probably could be in the trunk of a car. If these guys were real professionals, it's not hard to get rid of the body.
You're not going to bury in the desert.
No, well, I mean, most people, I'm not trying to bum anybody out, but if you're really trying to get rid of somebody, you put them in the trunk of a car and you take them to one of those lots where they crush cars, and they will crush an entire automobile into a 3 foot by 3 foot section of metal that's going to get sold to China, where they're going to drop it into basically they're going to burn it. They're going to recycle it. And a lot of mobsters put a lot of bodies in crushed cars. So I don't think it was a sexual thing. And sadly, I don't think she's alive. But even with that 3 hours, that's all you get that you can look it up from where you are. It goes to Google, right? And then Google holds on to it because Google owns Nest. And you can absolutely get in there. You're right, Roberta. We're working on that. I missed the glove memo. Source DNA on the glove by now. Wouldn't that have given a direct subject? Yeah. Here's the thing, though. I don't know how long the turnaround time is. I know that no one's waiting online, right? They're not in line. What usually holds up DNA is if there's another case in front of it or whatever. Let's be honest. This is the only case in America right now. Yeah, well, YouTube would have to concede its censorship. I am just going to continue to talk the way that I do. They're not going to push me as far, but I'm not going to feel like I'm being disrespectful to people.
And that's why you have to like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah, Ryan Eats Crayon says, with a middle to older age guy on the cam, no sexual assault in my opinion. At least not as a motive. Now, I'll tell you something. I'm not trying to bum anybody out, but there's been a lot of cases where someone will take a hostage, and then when you get you'll get the shit kicked out of you in prison. You rape an old person or a kid, your prison time is going to be really, really hard. Cellar with wooden boards. Who knows? Yeah, I'm telling you, it's going to be a very difficult thing. Hold on one second. You know, a lot of people are saying that the kids should have made sure that the mom was safe. Don't you think they thought she was? And I'm not trying to be a dick about this, but my mom is the same age as Nancy Guthrie. And we just were really, really lucky. When my mom said, no, I want to live at the house, I'm not going to move in. with any of you. I'm going to live at the house, blah, blah, blah. We were able to talk her into letting 2 of my nephews move in, and they are in their 20s, yoked up, big corn-fed white boys that would really make it uncomfortable on anybody that would come that way. But it's, she lived there for 50 years, and I'm never going to tell somebody who's older, I'm not letting you do this, right? First of all, my wife would kill me, but it's just not something that you do. Thank you. You know what? If you really want to see, it is second to only relatable Reese. If you ever see my wife work an audience, I am not nearly as fast as my wife is. And my wife, after like 4 days, knows every single person in the chat. It's bizarre. Is it not? She'll be like, oh, hey, how are you? Is your daughter doing better? I'm like, how the hell do you do that? My mom was stubborn like that. Independent is so hard to lose. Independence. Yeah. And would you want them to? Right? I can't tell Tommy what to do, and it's annoying as hell. I slept today, babe. I napped between every single one of the shows. I went to bed really early last night.
You're pretty boring today.
I was boring today, yeah. I was a really good boy today. I listened to everything you say, Quibs. I'm smitten. I understand what you're saying. I just mean the daughter is famous. She could have afforded a subscription to the security camera system. You know what, though? If you're not someone that's really up on it, like somebody goes to your front door and you go, I got 3 hours to see him. Why do I need anything more than that? See, what happens is when you buy the system, you get it with the standard, this is what you get for free. And then people will upgrade if they decide they want to be able to look through camera stuff days and days later. For most people, a 3-hour window is enough, right? Now, once that goes to Google, it will sit on her drive until a bunch more shit comes into that drive and bumps it out. So once this crime happened, they went to Google and said, nothing else goes in. We freeze this thing because we're going to be coming in with search warrants. We do balance each other out. And then on top of that, they still have to know exactly what is going on, right? They still have to be smart enough to go in there and sort of layer through all of it. I do what you tell me to do, Reese. I do. I'm telling you I do. I slept today, big time. And I'll admit, I have not been taking care of myself in terms of sleep. I will admit that. But these cases don't come along often, right? And I am invested in this one. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that it is in the Catalina foothills, right? Quibs, you've been there. I lived in the Catalina foothills. I know exactly where this woman lived. My sister lived in the exact same neighborhood as this woman. I am very familiar with where she is. She is the same age as my mom. She's goes to church, right, and is super into Christianity. So is my mother. There's just a lot of things in this that draws me in, man. That draws me in, and that's kind of I think in all of them. Here's Charlie Brown's teacher, Tim. I do not. I'm sorry. Did you just go want, Reese? Good shopping in the foothills. True story. And good Mexican food. Was it not? Reese and I had a lot of fun there. She lived in a fancy part of Tucson. She did. The Catalina foothills is absolutely gorgeous. It is the Scottsdale kind of Tucson. And everybody thinks how hot Tucson is. Tucson is hot. It is a hell of a lot colder than it is in Phoenix. And the Catalina foothills are colder than it is in regular Tucson. No, you're not a pain in my ass. And I do watch the interview room. My only complaint with them currently is, and a lot of people are doing this, I can't be mad at them, but there's a lot of 3 and 4 hour shows. Do it again, Scoville. There's a lot of 3 and 4 hour shows that people are doing. Claudia, thank you so much. Have they checked PC old houses? No, not to the best of my knowledge. They have not. And there's just so much. Can you imagine how much there is to check? There was a camera they removed recently in the back. No pics, not yet. It is a process. It really is. The people in the interview room are doing these unbelievably long, really, really long shows. I don't watch shows nearly as much as I go and grab the transcript and read it because I can read really fast and I'll retain more of it. But holy hell, man, it takes a long, long time. Oh, no, you can't buy those glasses. It's the only reason I married her. 280 people have hit the like button. Do you guys not like me? Do me a favor and smack that subscribe button. We're trying to hit 27,000 today, guys. The goal is to hit 27,000 today. Am I going to be on later tonight? I am going to be on later tonight. And you know what? If we give her a lot of hell, maybe we can talk Reese into doing it one day this week. We would, Johnny and I would love to invite her on for the midnight show. The three of us together, forget about it. Thank you. I wasn't sure if that was every night thing or not. It is going to be, yeah. I thought it was my panty hamster. Pretty damn fond of your panty hamster too. Hit the like button. He's a great guy. Yeah, no, that's definitely. Roof cameras were supposedly not operational. Well, that has been said, but boy, they sure wanted it off of there, didn't they? You know what? Tell my wife that. Tell my wife that. Have they questioned all of the local sex offenders? RJ, I don't know that they've questioned them, but they sure as shit have gone out, found out where every single one of them is, and then yanked their jackets. And if they're somebody that has priors of a lot of people that are registered sex offenders aren't even people that touched anyone, right? They're freaks that did stuff on computers and things like that. They're going to look for people whose MOs are similar. If there is somebody that had sexually assaulted a senior citizen, a woman, they're going to be all over that person like stink on, you know what? There is a lot of love on Reese's channel. There is. Oh, Lord, Reese After Dark. When is the next Cults and Crim stream? You would have to ask my wife on that one. She's the boss, man. Don't let her fool you. It's always after dark. It is. So if you're just getting here, the black glove that was found, again, I'm not making a prediction on this, but I'm scared that we're going to find out that black glove belonged to one of the people that's searching. They're all wearing those gloves. They're all wearing those gloves. I mean, we're excited right now, but we were excited about Carlos. I am so bummed out that this is just going to end up being a bust, right? Another one. Tommy, I absolutely adore how you call Reese your wife. You know what? I'm pretty fond of her, man. Maybe taken to a vacant. Damn, we're moving pretty quick. That's a good sign. Do you think it's time for the FBI to interrogate people? Allegedly, they're doing that. Right? They said today, and I don't know if they're lying to us or not, but they said today that they have multiple people of interest. This would be logical, wouldn't it? But here's one of the only problems with that. This is Tucson, and even though we're in this time of the year, that house has got to have air conditioning, or they're gonna lose her. Right? Even on the days that aren't unbelievably hot, if you don't have air conditioning in Tucson, you're screwed.
You'll just die.
Yeah, you'll just die. Never been to Arizona, but looks creepy, like a giant litter box, so dry, dusty, and dark. You sound like my wife. How did the perp know that the mom would be home that evening? She had been at her daughter's. What if they would have been a dry run? His face on the camera. Here's the thing. I think this is an inside job. I've been saying this from Jump Street, and I'm sticking with it. I like the son-in-law for this, Tommaso Neckbeard, this guy right here. And if you've not seen him, you'll know why we call him Neckbeard. He's just got some really strong facial hair. If you're a golfer, tell me you don't want to hit a golf ball off that with like a 7-iron. Looks like the second cut at the U.S. Open. No? Nothing?
Absolutely.
Nothing? I think it's an inside job. Absolutely believe it's an inside job. Nothing else makes sense. If you get a chance to watch that video, there's a step up this big. He's grabbing flowers and doing all this, and he's turning. I promise you, if it was any of us at a place we've never been to, that step is going to bust your ass. He's literally coming into it backwards, and the foot just goes up. I mean, like Michael Jackson. I'm telling you, this dude knew where he was going. It was all gray and everything was dead, no greenery. Yeah, you were there. Actually, you were there twice. In the summer, you got to admit it was greener in the summer. I think it was a 3-man job. Everyone always asks me, what do I think? I think it was a 3-man job. Oh, no, you're absolutely wrong. I mean, there may be FBI agents that are wearing blue gloves. The vast majority of them are wearing black ones. Today, I was pulling picture after picture. Not the people going into the crime scene to get evidence. The people that are walking through the brush and the bushes, you're not going to use those little blue things. They're going to tear in a heartbeat. They're using thicker black gloves. I promise you. Wouldn't lie to you. Is Arizona a poor state? No, not at all. Roberta agrees, right? Yeah, a driver and 2 perps. I agree with you. The brush he pulled was dry. I agree, Tommy. Inside job. That duster looks suspect to me. Said Neckbeard was one of the guys. I think that Neckbeard might have been one of the guys. Here's the thing. I have been saying, well, he wouldn't want to go over there if he knew who it was. If it's not a kidnapping, what does he care? Right? What does he care if grandma knows that he's there, if he plans to kill him? I mean, her, right? The storm door looks like a security door. Mop, you talking about the one on the front? Good friggin' luck trying to get through that as a criminal. I'm not shitting you. I used to tell people all the time, people would say, you got any advice for not getting robbed? I'd be like, man, get one of those security storm doors, those black ones. You're not getting through those, man. I've seen cops not get through those. Those things are a bitch to get through. It definitely will protect you. I don't think he was trying to go through the front door at any point. None of your business. Good to see you. I think he was trying to disable that camera so that the car could pull up to get her. Someone was going in the back around the same time, right? That's what I believe. Absolutely. Right? They're jimmying that back door. They're going in. He's disabling the camera, and the third man is driving the vehicle. Reese, you miss Ecuador. Stop talking about Kansas City. Yeah, Mop, and you've probably seen them before. They're not something you're going to kick in. Those are a bitch to get through. Very, very serious doors. Oh, don't tell me my chat is slowing down again. Yeah, it sure is. Jack Stack, look, if you guys are going to talk food, I will turn this boat around. Right? We're not doing Kansas City barbecue places. We could turn this thing completely sideways. You miss Ecuador, absolutely. How long was her heart beating fast? You know what? They haven't given that to us. All they said, and it was only said once in the beginning, that there was a spike on the.
That makes sense. You heard them kick the door.
Hold on one second. Sorry, this is somebody that updates me on this shit. Wow. Sorry. Yeah, the poor woman. Here's the thing. This is going to sound so cold-hearted. I want everybody to forgive me in advance. But there's a part of me that just hopes that this was over very quickly. I know that sounds awful. It really does. But I don't think she's still alive. So I'm hoping that that this didn't take a long time. You want to know what caused him to go into the DoorDash guy for questioning? I'll blow your mind if you let me tell you. 2 things. Number 1, somebody at Neckbeard can't keep her alive. Nancy knows him. Correct. But I don't think that was ever the cause. I think that they were going to get rid of her, get her out of the house, and kill her. That's what I think. Why hasn't Neckbeard said a statement in his defense? Butterfly. This cat hasn't done anything normal. Anything. Phoenix was really hot. And you know what else? We had the strangest hotel room on planet Earth. Honest to God, if you walked into the room that we rented there, you wouldn't have believed it. If mom has passed, how long do you think they'll find her? This is my opinion on that. What I think will happen, and I don't want to be bumming anybody out, but very often deals are made. This is going to be a capital offense. You understand? This was, if she's gone, this is a murder in the commission of another felony. Right? Can't say murder either. Murder in the commission of another felony makes this a capital. Yeah, makes this a capital offense. And if it is a capital offense, right, then what they do is they end up making a deal to not get the needle. We did have a wonderful time. I've got videos if you guys want to see it. How prevalent are scorpions in Arizona for real? You see them a lot. I think that they'll cut a deal to save their life. I think when they get caught, they're going to have to cut a deal. And one of the things that very often happens is they'll say, we'll take the death penalty off the table. We want to know where she is. And very often that tends to work out. After watching for a while, I'm finally jumping into the chat. I don't always agree with you, and sometimes you change my mind. Those are the best channels. Wow, what a cool thing to say. Honest to God, what a cool thing to say. We do have great footage. In fact, if you've ever been on Reese's channel, she may have showed it to you. They'll take that Kohlberger special. That's right, none of your business. I'll tell you something. You know what pissed me off about the Kohlberger thing? For the longest time, all criminals, as soon as you got to jail, they'd say to you, everybody, they'd go, no, don't take the deal. Don't take the deal. Whatever you do, tell them you're going to trial, and then wait until the last minute, which is just what he did. And going back 20 years ago, the judges started going, oh, no, screw you. We're having a trial. Not giving you a better deal, because they knew that everyone was trying to work it, right? Yeah, Johnny, you need to throw out those threats. Only 360 likes. Yeah, we need to get those throwing out. No elocution, correct. Tommy, can you comment about the au pair murder case? Yes, but I will be doing a show on it. I promise you. So be looking for it, because I am definitely going to comment on the au pair case. That is my much older brother. If you would like to see him not look so intimidating, check the 12 o'clock show.
With the like, please.
It's the blood that bothers me. This perp has a violent and or sexual record. In order to beat, don't assume that he beat her, right? Don't assume that he beat her. This is definitely one of those situations where, I mean, did you see her arms? I'm not trying to be a prick. Never think I'm trying to be a prick. But when we talk about true crime, you just sort of got to get to the point, or it takes forever, right? I don't want to say her skin would tear like paper, right? Look at every picture I've ever seen of her. She's got a bandage somewhere on her arm. My dad used to bleed like you wouldn't believe. I'm married to Anna Nicole Smith, right? I mean, half of her husbands were like 130. And Reese would tell you that when people get that age, their skin literally just tears. Anna Nicole, back me up on this. Now, if it was really a kidnapper and they said something like, you're going to let us into a safe, but nothing was stolen, right? There are times where someone will hit someone, and that doesn't even necessarily mean that she's super abusive. Correct. She's on rowdy blood thinners. But if you say, hey, I want the password to your computer, and she says no, she's not a person you would have to hit hard to cause a lot of blood. And it's a bummer, but it's the truth. Oh, why they detain that guy. So In-N-Out Burger, sorry, I never finish a thought. It's one of my problems. So a guy that worked at In-N-Out Burger, or a gal, we don't know which. It wasn't a pizza guy. It was a delivery guy, Tara. The guy, you're talking about, I assume, Carlos, right? So Carlos, what they said, the reason that they got Carlos was somebody at In-N-Out Burger, good burger, by the way, bad fries, good burgers. Somebody at In-N-Out Burger said, I know the guy that did this, and he's a delivery guy, and he does deliveries in Tucson, and he's the guy behind that mask. Literally, that's what they're saying they went on. I'd like to believe that's not the truth, but when you see his mother interviewed, right, she said they got out of the car, came up, said they were coming into the house, kicked the door, and I said, you got a warrant? They said, we don't need one. And then they showed me the picture, and the pictures that they were showing the mother were this. So they weren't in there going to try to find something. They were in looking because they thought he was the guy behind that mask. And if that's all you're going on to kick people's doors in, we're in a shitload of trouble, right? We really are, man. It makes you think that the FBI might be doing just as good a job as Barney Fife. The skin is extremely thin. Sadly, it really is, right? Yes, a show on cheap, cool expat places. I am going to live stream during the day during Carnival. No chance in hell I'm going out at night during Carnival. Not going to happen. But I will live stream during the day, and I'll give everybody a head start so that you get a chance to see the Malecone and see what it's like in Salinas. It's called Purpura senilis. Really? Are you in the medical field? I dated a girl, one of the first girls I ever dated. We got super close, and she had gone away over the summer. And when she came back, I called and I said, "You want to go to the movies?" And she said, "I can't." I said, "Why not?" She said, "I have Henox Sheline Purpura." And I go, "What the hell is that?" Like, if you don't want to go out, just tell me you don't want to go out. But I went and we went out, and she had purple marks like all over her entire body. Carlos' phone also pinged in the area. It did, because he delivers packages up there. He works for a delivery company in Tucson. Yeah, you black and blue, very easy on blood thinners and bleed easy. I've told the story on here a bunch of times. Barney is out of the picture. We think he is, James. We think he is. At this point, I think they keep him around so that they can go, there he is. But he's not doing anything. Plunder has the scanner recordings from when they were following Carlos. It's interesting. I saw people listening to that today too, right? It's amazing how much this has captured people. But I've told the story on here about 100 times. Thank you. My mom and I were walking in northern Nevada, and it was snowing, and she fell, right? And I grabbed her arm on the way down as she was falling to keep her from hitting the ground. And she said, "Thank you." And the next day, I have the biggest hand in the world. If you ever saw me in real life, my hands are like catcher's mitts. They're just not normal. It's the first thing everybody says about me. Good God, look at your hands. But her arm, like my hand could go all the way around my mom's arm, like the wrist. And every one of my fingers put a black and blue on her that she probably had for weeks. It looked like I beat her. My prayers are with her as well. It could have been a younger sex pervert. However, they keep saying that the older the victim, the younger the pervert, he would have had to have a car. He would have had to been able to get a gun. So if you're looking at a 16 or 17-year-old, that's a stretch. His delivery company closed at 6. His phone pinged late. That's why the FBI ran with it. I don't believe any of that shit. I'm sorry, I really don't. At this point, I am so blown away by the misinformation campaign that has come out in this. I've been doing true crime for a hot minute. I've never seen anything like this in my life. Kohberger, there was some misinformation. They told us that they didn't have any suspects the day that they got Kohberger, right? So they always lie to us, and they have to. But normally it's lies of omission. They say to you, "No, we don't have a suspect. No, this person isn't a person of interest," and then they arrest the person, right? That kind of shit happens all the time. But in this one, they say something that just isn't true. And then they change the timeline. When this first happened, put a 3 in the chat if this sounds like you remember this. This is one of those situations that in the very beginning of this shit, they said to us that the kids got to the house and they were there for about an hour. They got there at 11. And then at 12:05 or 12:03 or something like that, they called 911. And everybody and their brother were going, whoa, you saw blood on your mom's porch and it took you an hour to call? You're guilty, right? Like that doesn't make any sense. Well, there's a bit of a difference, fitness junkie. Luigi Mangione killed somebody in the worst place in the entire world to do it. Every one of those streets had a camera on it. He was actually a fairly easy person to keep following around, right? The Catalina foothills is a little different, but I understand where you're coming from. And here's the other thing. If the FBI had been called in when they should have been, but Barney Fife wanted to handle this himself. That's why the crime scene got turned back over to the family at hour 30. The first time that we took it back, right, from the family was because the FBI was just coming in there for the first time. So you got a missing person that very well might have been kidnapped, and the FBI isn't coming in until what, hour 40? Yeah, day 2 or 3? That's just downright friggin' stupid. And it's also not like any other kidnapping that ever happened, right? Ever. The kidnapper leaves a note at the house so that you don't call the friggin' cops. They don't wait 50 hours to contact you and say, "We kidnapped your person." 50 hours and not finding mom, you're going to call the cops. You're going to call the FBI. That's what they don't want you to do, right? You've seen the movies. If you call the cops, your loved one is dead, right? That's usually how it goes. Bad fries, man. Bad fries. I like, if you get them animal style, you can deal with them. Look how long it took for the Delphi suspect to get caught, and they had video evidence of him on the bridge. You know what? I wish Johnny Scova was here. He just stepped out for a second, but he was trying to remember the name Delphi Murders today, and we just couldn't do it. That Cessna had infrared. Oh my God, are you kidding? They just did not bother to fly the perimeter. Well, the sheriff had an issue with that. I'm not blown away that Savannah called Mark Kelly and then he called the cops. I have seen people panic multiple times. Savannah wasn't at the house, correct? So Savannah got a call from the people at the house. It's an effed up story all the way around. It really is. But that doesn't necessarily shock me. A lot of times when people's hearts are in their throat, I might call my girl before I call 911. At 1:47 a.m., he's first on camera before removing it. 2:12 a.m., another camera detected, possibly backdoor. You think that's the backdoor camera? That's not my understanding of that. 2:28, the watch lost trace. So was she put in the car? If so, I make it 16 minutes at the home. And I don't have my timeline in front of me. Come to the midnight show, and I'll tell you where we go on that. You can't believe she called Mark Kelly. I'm not blown away by that. And if you think that Savannah Guthrie did this, I'm lost, man. Somebody make me understand that. And make me understand what the motive would be for somebody with $40 million to kill her mother, who by all is best friend, right? She loves her mother. They're closer than two people could be. Yeah, Savannah called Mark Kelly as she was driving to the airport to go to Tucson. I got a midnight show for you. Don't tease me, woman. Do not tease me. I'm in the mood. In the mood. Still a long time. But 16 minutes. If that's the timeline, then they lied to us one other time. They lied to us again. But how many times has the timeline been changed at this? Right? Just like we were talking about the 1 hour they had at the house before they called 911. It was 7 minutes. When they finally got the timeline right, because the FBI came in and Barney Fife wasn't doing it anymore, we found out that they called within 7 minutes, which is reasonable as shit. Right? You go in your house, you look in every room, you go, oh my God. You call 3 or 4 friends. Hey, you didn't hear from my mom. Did she come by you? You call a couple of hospitals because there's some blood in the front. Real Alex, good to see you. Cannot stand Mark Kelly. Does anyone like Mark Kelly? Mark Kelly's mother doesn't like Mark Kelly. I hope she's alive too. Well, there are people every single day. I mean, we've had hundreds of thousands of people, believe it or not, that have watched the boat in the last week. You would be absolutely blown away by the number of people that think Savannah Guthrie did this, right? She did do the Black Dahlia, though. Nice. Well played. Now, say what you will about that scumbag senator. If you had the ability to call in that kind of clout, right? Savannah Guthrie knows a lot of people in Scoob knows a lot of people in government. Maybe she was thinking, I want every single thing I can possibly get on this, right? I would like the president to call me and tell me that I have the resources of the United States of America to make this happen, which eventually did happen. 50 hours is 2 past 48. It absolutely is, right? How are you going to wait days before you deliver a ransom note? Nothing about this makes sense. I'm not giving him a pass. This is the worst I have. And again, we don't know what's happening behind the scenes. It's amazing that they were able to get that footage from the front door. I can't imagine what that must have been like in the lab, because these guys are pros or whatever, but they even said it's a very difficult process. It doesn't always work. Can you imagine what it must have been like when they're sitting in there working on it and they're peeling back layer after layer, and the next thing they know, they're looking at that. Holy shit, get in here. You got to see this, right? That's terrifying. And people are wondering, was it a kidnapping or whatever? By the way, there's a big difference between kidnapping, right, and kidnapping for money. Kidnapping for ransom and kidnapping are two different things. People like to quote how many people are kidnapped every year in the United States. They're not kidnapped for ransom. Those are parents that can't get along. No, you got to order the fries with animal style. These are mom and dads that fight, and mom grabs the kid and runs, or dad grabs the kid and runs. That's a kidnapping. It doesn't mean that anyone's going to get paid. It's a very, very different thing. I think it was supposed to be a burglary, maybe by the backpack, and it went wrong. She was awake or something. Okay. And look, I'm never busting anybody's balls, but I like people to run through this to the final conclusion. As a former criminal, nobody likes to break into a house in the middle of the night, because that little old lady could weigh 60 pounds, but if she can pull 2 pounds of pressure, she can kill anybody that comes through that door. And in the United States of America, there's 3 guns for every American, right? There's 900 million guns and there's 330 million Americans. You're risking your ass if you go into someone's house at night. Most people keep their gun right by their bed for a reason, right? So unless you know the old lady doesn't have a gun, that's a really dangerous crime. And if that is what happened, let's say you go in there, right? Lightning strikes. You go in there and you accidentally hurt this woman. Now you're going to take the body, but not rip off anything from the house. If you're a crook, trust and believe, you're already screwed, right? So you may as well steal everything in that friggin' house. Everything. Yeah, I mean, you do not have a neck beard, Reese. I swear to God, knock that off. OJ has the other glove. That's a good reference, man. Annie is now called Nosebeard. I like it. She's in Mexico? I don't think so. I don't think so. Thank you so much for the support and for the funny comment. I don't think she's in Mexico, man. It's a real risk to drive somebody across the Mexican border that people are looking for, right? I just saw a comment I didn't understand. It's a real risk to go across the Mexican border. I have crossed the Mexican border a stink load of times in my life. And depending on what border crossing you're going across, you could be looking at maybe a 1 in 10 chance, 1 in 9 chance that they say to your car, you, come here. And they're going to just search the car. I promise you that once they got the call that this had happened, they were going to be searching way more than 1 out of 9 cars. And then you got to bring her back if you want to actually, if this was for ransom, you got to drive her back across that border. That border right now would not be the place that you would want to be traveling with somebody. It just, to me, it doesn't make sense. If you were going to try to hide her, I think she'd be a lot safer to hide her in the U.S. I'm willing to bet the black gloves they found today was one from Brian Enton. He was holding up yesterday. Can you imagine? I wouldn't be shocked.
What an asset.
In a private jet, yeah, Patch, that would be the way to do it. Yeah, a private jet would be the way to do it. This is an attempt to get rid of mommy. Sadly, I think you're right. I think that's what took them so long to send it as ransom. Once they realized who they took, or hopefully not sadly killed, they're trying to get something out of it. It's all so bizarre, though. You know what? Lightning strikes, that does make sense. That is a theory.
No one does a random kidnapping.
Yeah, but random kidnappings are really odd. I mean, like, let's say you got in there and you hurt her. Why take her with you, right? If you think, oh, God, I hurt her so bad she's going to die, kill her right where you are.
Especially somebody with that many elements.
Right. She's 84 years old. If you kill someone 25 in their house, they're doing an autopsy. They're bringing in an entire crew. They're going to dust everything for prints. An 84-year-old woman is found dead on the floor. She has a pacemaker. They're going to assume she fell down. I'm not trying to be a dick, but that's the easiest thing to stage in the world, right? Put her in the shower. Put her in the shower. She fell down. Leave the water running. Wash away all of the DNA and everything else. Leave the water running and walk out of the house. The guy at the front door already had gloves on, right? He's covered pretty much from head to toe. Look at his arms. He's got tight stuff right here. It's set up to not leave a whole lot of DNA. Doesn't mean that you're not gonna, right? But it's definitely trying to not. Scoob, have a good night's sleep. Thank you for stopping in. I think they got sick of driving mom around. I think you're right. They should check teenagers' sons' electronics too. Oh, I bet they are. I bet they're checking every device everywhere. I'd be really surprised if they didn't. I want to know why Tommaso is her power of attorney. You and everybody else. And you know, we're hoping that they're asking all of those questions of him, but he just might not be talking. He certainly got into that car like he didn't want to participate in this shit in any way, right? He's pulling his head down like this. He's pulling his shirt up. My God, dude. Like, I've done that before, but I was guilty, right? It was a newspaper trying to take a picture of the gentleman bank robber, right? Like, I didn't want, oh God, right? When you're guilty, that's the kind of shit you do. It's not the kind of stuff you do when you lost a loved one. You go out and talk to the press. Hey, listen, everybody, you're looking at America. This is the press. You get right in the camera and go, please pray for my mother, right? Please pray for her. We believe that she's out there. If you see anything, if you hear anything, you don't run to the car covering your head. That moment I went, this dude's a bust. I like this dude for the crime instantly.
Where would I refuse polygraph. You guys just go.
The body language is very telling. I agree with you, my Wendy. I really agree with you. Everything about this dude gives me the creeps. Everything about maybe a kidnapping gone wrong. Mommers, I actually think that's pretty logical. If they were trying to do this for a kidnapping, think about this for a second. She's not a young woman. Let's say you try to kidnap her, right? And she starts getting really, really ill in the first 20 hours, in the first 6 hours. She panics so hard, right, that now you're doing everything you can to keep this woman alive, right? And this keeps, you literally are fighting it for 20 hours. That is a large white pussycat. Look at that face. It's a face only a Scoville could love. Katy Perry. How you doing? The size of the feet on that thing. All right, people. Nothing that this guy did. Tommaso is the jerk of 2026. James, you know who else is? I'm sorry, man. You know what? I don't talk about content creators. I make a point of not talking about content creators, but I'm bummed out by a lot of the stuff that content creators are doing. It was low budget for them to say to Carlos's mom, "What's your son's name? What's your son's name?" And put it and dox his ass for the entire world, right? Everyone was already running with that. I ran with it. What's that?
First of all,
and then they called him a sex offender.
For Always, Forever, for Life says that the police chief quit, and Okerlund says Savannah has no upper lip. I didn't say it.
You know what?
Don't be mad at me.
Who said that?
Okerlund.
You know why we're laughing or not? Somebody in a chat earlier said, I said, how is it that they called off the search after 30 hours? And some jackwagon said they shouldn't have called off the search for her upper lip. You know what? Honestly, I don't usually do that.
She and her mother are both beautiful women.
Yes, I agree with you. They're both beautiful women. Always Forever for Life. Thank you so much.
900. Why have you not liked this, comment, and subscribe?
And Hookerlund, I am not mad at you. I'm really not. You know what you got going for you? I'm the least mature person on planet Earth. But I do find both of them to be beautiful women. I really do. And my heart right now goes out to them in a way that I cannot imagine. I have to go check right now to see if Barney Fife really quit. That would be, honest to God, that would be massive news as far as I'm concerned, because this guy is absolutely a jackwagon that's done nothing to move this case forward. I mean, nothing, right? Nothing. OG has the other. See, I was trying to find the new ones because my chat has frozen itself, but you got that coming for $10. Trip, Savannah has no upper lip. Well, there's, it does, those things do thin out with age. She's about my age. She looks a hell of a lot better than I do. I'm going to go check on this for Always, Forever, for Life. And thank you all for the support. Blows my mind. It really does. It's so much fun. I shit you not, man. I was telling my wife this today. There is nothing more fun in the world to me than hanging out with all of you and listening to all of the theories that you guys have. Tommy, say one more time, allegedly. Allegedly. This is as much fun as I can possibly have. I'm not joking. I love listening. Yeah, I love listening to all of your theories. And it blows me away that other people don't do what I do. Look at this. Congratulations are in order. No, I'm kidding. It's my brother's. But he still needs you to hit subscribe for whatever reason. It's an ego thing. Head over to Chase the Heat and hit subscribe to my brother's channel. And definitely, Reese, my wife, please put your link up there so it makes it easier on people. Thank you to everyone who subscribed to my channel. I really appreciate your support. And you know what? Every single person that has come back to tell me how funny you are. Like I didn't know that, right? I'm telling you, I married her for how funny she was. Those really cool glasses and that panty hamster. All right, people, at midnight tonight on the East Coast time. So much for taking a nap between now and then. It's all right, Reese. I swear to God, I'm going early to bed.
Thank you, lovely lady.
I'm going to get some sleep tonight.
Thank you, lovely lady.
Thank you, lovely lady. And there it is, people. You see that? Stop by and click subscribe on my wife's channel. I swear to God, you'll thank me later. I'm not just doing it because she's my wife. If you guys like the kind of chat I do, she's going to blow you away. She's better at this than I am. Pima residents need to tell the sheriff about Vanderbeek. Oh, you know what? I forgot about James Vanderbeek. Quips, did you hear that? Vanderbeek passed away. The guy from, what's the name of that show again? Seventh Heaven? Was it Seventh Heaven? No, Dawson's Creek. Dawson's Creek. You didn't like that show? Did you really just say ham wallet? All right, people, between now and the next time that I see you, do that nepotism thing. Get over there and hit subscribe to all of my loved ones' channels. There's not a lot of them. I am Tommy Scoville, and that right there is a really large cat laying on her back. There you go, Katy Perry. All right, people. I will see you at midnight on East Coast time. It'll be me and my brother. Please do me a favor and pray for this family. Pray for the Guthries. If you're somebody that prays, please pray for the Guthries. And pray that the mom is found alive. Varsity Blues. Worst case scenario, let's just pray for the family. All right, people. I will see you on the next one. I'm Tommy. See you tonight. God bless. Don't miss midnight.